Well, it's official. Americans are now being warned of what is coming in less than 24 hours. We now know, because the White House has confirmed this, that the United States will impose tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China. We are about to see a surge in prices, but we are also now hearing reports out of Canada that they are going to implement retaliatory tariffs as well back on the United States. So we are going to be hit both going and coming. So you need to be prepared for what is about to take place again in just 24 hours. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, explain what is going on, why many Americans are scared, and why businesses are already planning for mass layoffs here in the US. So before I get to this new update, I do ask one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So this is the last thing that the American people wanted. However, this is something that we knew was coming. Now, just this morning, there were reports out of the Associated Press that President Trump was considering delaying these tariff impositions until potentially March 1st. But according to reports and according to the White House, they say that no, these tariffs are going to go into effect on February 1st, which is tomorrow. But I want you to listen to what the White House press secretary just said today. Listen to this.
I was just with the president in the Oval Office, and I can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
The president yesterday said that last night he was planning to discuss whether an exemption would be made on oil imports. Do you have any information on what decision he made there, or will there be exemptions at all offered under this?
I don't have an update or readout for you on the exemptions, but those tariffs will be for public consumption in about 24 hours tomorrow, so you can read them then.
So there you go. We don't know about potential exemptions. We did hear just the other day that President Trump was considering exemptions for oil. Keep in mind, the United States is, we use Canadian oil. Okay, we bring down crude, we use it. That could get more expensive. If we see oil gets more expensive, that means transportation costs get more expensive, food costs more expensive, and everything in between. So again, that could be a problem. But look at this right here. It says Canada will bring forceful but reasonable retaliation to Trump's tariffs, according to Justin Trudeau. Now, what you need to understand is that Canada is concerned. They are extremely concerned that the tariffs on Canada are going to hurt their economy, and they likely will. But the Trump administration says that Canada has to be held responsible, as does Mexico, because they continue to allow fentanyl into the United States. But I want to show you this as well. Look at this. I want to read this to you. It says both Canada and Mexico have said they prepared the option of retaliatory tariffs to be used if necessary, which in turn could trigger a wider trade conflict that economic analysis say could hurt growth and further accelerate inflation. Goes on to say, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Friday that Canada is ready to respond if Trump goes ahead with the tariffs, but he did not give details. He says, we're ready with a response, a purposeful, forceful, but reasonable, immediate response. It's not what we want, but if he moves forward, we will also act. Says Trudeau said tariffs would have disastrous consequences for the U.S., putting American jobs at risk and causing prices to rise. Trudeau reiterated that less than 1% of the fentanyl and illegal crossings into the U.S. come from Canada. Okay. Now, I want to show you this as well. And the reason why I'm going to show you this is because this is potentially going to cause more disruptions. Look at this. This article from today says Google offers voluntary buyouts to hardware and platinum teams. Now, I don't want you to get caught up on what Google's doing. What I want you to understand is we are about to see these voluntary buyouts from many companies. Listen to this, because this is, again, what we are now facing. With these tariffs, we're about to see more layoffs. But before layoffs come, many companies opt for buyouts, where they give these workers a little bit of a compensation package. Okay? And so I want to read this to you. Okay? This person wrote an email to me this morning, and part of the email says this. I was just informed this morning that if tariffs are placed on Canada, then I will be receiving a commission cut of 40%. I'm in sales and we sell products to a Canadian company that finishes the metals and ships them back to us for refinishing. But now my boss tells me that Canada is planning a retaliatory tariff of their own, meaning my commissions could be cut even further than 40%. So this person, I don't know exactly what they do, but they say they sell products to a Canadian company that finishes the metals, then sends them back to them for refinishing. And I know this is something that happens all the time. We do this with car parts as well, and engines, and we ship them off to Canada. They do a little bit more to them, ship them back, and then we shove them in some vehicles. But again, this is only going to increase costs. Costs across the board. But here's the thing. We are now hearing more reports that companies are looking into severance packages for some of their employees. They see the writings on the wall that they're going to have to downsize in order to remain profitable. This is going to cause a lot of pain. Now, again, I've said this over the past week or two, that what we are about to see with President Donald Trump's his plans, his tariff plan, and so much more, his deportation plan, tax plan, everything, there's going to be immediate pain. But it's going to be followed by, and we don't know if it's going to take weeks, months, years, but eventually it will become a better option for us here in the U.S. We will produce more, there'll be more resources, right? More jobs, pay will be higher, everything will be great. But if something falters over that time frame, that's where we're going to see some issues. I want to play you another clip though. Listen to this right here. Again, this is very important what is being said. Okay, look at this right here.
Follows through on tariffs for Mexico and Canada, and those nations respond with tariffs of their own. What should people expect to hit their wallet?
Well, if you work at one of these companies that exports goods to Canada and Mexico, well, you might be in a little bit of trouble. The last time this happened, when President Trump imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum from Canada and Mexico, those governments retaliated. They hit not only American metals, some of which made here in North Carolina, but also agricultural products and manufactured goods and appliances. And that means less money, less sales for those companies, less output, fewer jobs. The USDA calculated that just agricultural products lost about $600 million in sales for the nation overall.
Wow. So yes, you are going to see some big changes, but this is perhaps the biggest change that we're going to see. The tariffs are going to be put in place, and some say it has more to do with the trade negotiations that are going to happen or leading up into 2026. But here's what you need to understand. We are about to see prices increase. As prices increase, the American people, the American dollar goes a little bit, it doesn't go as far, okay? It buys less. And if it's buying less, that means we can't spend as much. If we can't spend as much, that means businesses struggle. As these businesses struggle, they start to see that their profit is dwindling. Before it goes negative, they decide we need to make some changes. One of the big changes is we're going to see layoffs. But before layoffs, normally come hourly cuts, right? Wage cuts. That's what we're going to see. Or in this case with Google, right? What Google's just announced is they're actually offering voluntary buyouts to their hardware and platform teams. Okay, this is their platforms and devices division. They're going to offer buyouts, or what we call severance packages. So if you accept this package, we will then lay you off. You'll get some benefits. You'll get whatever the pay may be for X amount of weeks or months or whatever, and then you will be done. They do that as a way to not only incentivize people to work for their company, because again, we're just not going to lay you off. We're going to give you something in the end as you leave. But the biggest thing is they have to take care of their company as a whole. So what we're about to face is going to be some tough times, not just for us here in the United States, but for people in Canada, in Mexico, and over in China. So as we get more information about all this, what we are going to see as far as exemptions for Canada, for Mexico, or for China, I will bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get it. But as of today, that is all we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.